Hey, Teacher Thoughts coming at you with another video. I'm going to bend a couple more types of brackets for the greenhouse. This is a setup that I had running earlier, and we're just bending something similar to this. So this is what we needed for the greenhouse, and those are the ones that I'm replicating it with. So making one that looks fairly similar to add to our collection. So I'm going to bend a couple of these real quick. Then I have a different length of these that I'm going to work on. So I'm going to set this up. And just go ahead and bend these. Sheet metal work is always requires a little bit more tweaking, and it's really kind of an art form. You get to know how your sheet metal bends and moves, and then you can make different setups with it, make different parts. I would recommend getting quality equipment. There are smaller pan brakes that you can use. This is a little bit bigger one. Allows us to bend a little bit wider steel. I think this will go up to like 16 gauge. This is just some really light gauge stuff, but it's more than enough for what we need for our project. There's another one, and then I'm going to bend some shorter ones. So I used to do this professionally, and a job like this on a CNC takes a half hour to set up and dial in, and then a real short run is super quick. You know, sometimes it almost didn't seem that it was worth setting up the brake or the amount of parts that you ran. I guess we're going to run these on a different brake. I've got a different brake with a smaller finger. I think we'll run those over there. So we'll just do our big bends over here. Got another brake with a 3/4 of an inch finger. We'll use that one. When you're cutting parts by hand, you can't always be as precise as you want. All the stuff that I used to do was cut on a laser. So once you're dealing with lasers, you've got ultra high precision there, which is a lot easier to make parts with when everything is within 1/1000th of an inch of everything else. This, not so much. I used to make thousands of parts in an hour. I had a job that would take me a little bit more than an hour. Had 2 bends on each part. And you could do close to, well, probably easily 600 parts in an hour. A lot of that you were actually just limited by the speed of the machine rather than the speed of the person operating it. The largest parts I bent were oh, at least, well, some of them were more than 8 feet long. But I used to work for a dental equipment manufacturer, and I used to make the kick plates that went underneath the cabinetry. And those were the really long pieces that were more than 8 feet long, just depending on the length of the cabinet. Interesting thing there was all of the machine shops on the company, and there were multiples. So it was a company that employed 1,000 people in its machine shops and assembly area. But all of the machine shops ran in Imperial except one. And our cabinetry department ran in metric, because that's the way their systems were all set up. But it meant that every machine shop that made parts for them had to have imperial to metric conversions. And we had to be very specific on measurements if we were calling out metric or imperial. Sometimes you'd have prints that were called out in both, which led to a little bit of confusion and a little bit of frustration. But we got through it. We didn't mess up too many parts. There we go. And then I'll take these over the brake and bend them in the other bend. That's some simple sheet metal for our greenhouse. Hope you liked it. Hope you learned something. Ag Teacher Thoughts out.